Hey, Holger. Hey, Julia. How are you guys doing today?
Hey,
Hey,
Paul.
Paul.
All right. So I'm reaching out to you guys, and I wanted to ask some questions
Sure.
about center, sterilization, kind of, what's happening right now in the world and what's going to happen. I really, really want to understand that world better. So I figured I'd come to the experts and chat with you guys a little bit about that.
Yeah, one of our favorite topics.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll show you a little bit about what we do at
Okay.
Sterilization. Um,
Yeah, of course.
and what we do with technology is we want to keep your office clean and protected. It's super important, clean and protected. And one of the ways to do that is to let your patients know that you're clean and that you're also protected. And so here you can see a treatment center that we put together or an operatory that we put together. And you can imagine by the lights which one is clean, right?
I would guess the white one.
I
Yeah.
would say red one.
You would say the red one. Oh, God.
If you're colorblind, maybe.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
We're
I
running a
thought left
risky,
one is red.
that's a risky situation. So yes, so white is the clean and red is the not clean, dirty. And from that perspective, we're able to educate patients on what's clean and protected. But I have to tell you, as a technology person, I don't understand sterilization. I understand how to use technology to express it, but I don't actually understand it. And I was wondering if you could give me some insight into that without it being like, obviously, no, not the sales pitch aspect of it, but what is actual sterilization? Could you help me with that?
Yeah, of course, definitely. Yeah, as I said, sterilization has always been a very big topic. We know that now, during those times that we're in right now, everyone is talking about infection control, and we give it more attention than we usually do. So for us, it's always been the center of your clinic. So I just want to kind of look into where we are right now and we think where we're going. So it always has been the same process that there are 4 different steps that you have to go through to sterilize your instruments. So in this picture, you can see we have 3 different colors. We have red, which is soiled. We have yellow, which is clean, and we have green, which is sterile. And of course,
Which is actually similar what Paul kind of was
right.
showing with this white and this red. Now I see the red.
Well, but
Yeah,
this is,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. Now you see the red. There you go. There
It's
you
on the
go.
No,
right side
no, he
again,
does,
right?
right?
Red is on the right side, right?
Yeah, yeah. No. It's on the left side. The red's on the
Oh,
left.
okay. Thanks, Paul. See, I
Oh,
need you.
Yeah.
we gotta check those
So
glasses. Holger. We gotta check those
I will
glasses.
call you next time with a picture
That's
of this
it.
time.
That's it. Well, Julia, this is interesting. This is super interesting because now we've identified that Holger is colorblind, but uh, um, you have a yellow in there, which is interesting. So red is dirty, but the yellow is clean but not sterile. Uh,
yeah.
what's the difference between clean and not sterile? Or sterile, clean and sterile. I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's a part of the 4 steps. So clean does mean that they did come out of the washer. So they have been cleaned, but they have not been sterilized yet. So you can see on the left side of the picture, we have the washer. On the right side, we have the sterilizer. So until your instruments come out of the sterilizer, they are not sterile. So that's why you have to separate those 2 areas.
Got it.
And talking about separation, in the past, when we looked at offices, a lot of times we put a lot of attention into our waiting area, our operatory, but we did not really give sterilization the space that it needed. So a lot of times when you walk into an office, you can see a sterilization center, which is just linear 12 foot, 14 foot, 15 foot. And coming from Europe, for us, that's kind of a no-go because our guidelines in Germany are always or are right now ahead from the US, for example. And we already have guidelines that tell us you have to separate those 2 areas that we're looking at right now. And here, kind of the mindset is one size does fit all. So what size do you want? Just 15 foot, here you go. but we don't think that every office does has the exact same needs. So if you look at the office workflow, you have different procedures, you have different amounts of instruments, you have different amount of patients that you see a day. So how can a linear sterilization that's the exact same than the doctor next door even provide you with what you need? So we don't think that one size does fit all, and looking at the future that we will have more guidelines and now we pay more attention to sterilization area, we know that that will change and that we have to pay more attention to our sterilization.
Well, I knew I was connecting with the right team here with Kappler, and it's very interesting because what I'm taking away from what you're saying is that you guys have the EU experience, and in Europe, sterilization has had much more regulation. Your Steri Center was developed to meet that high level of regulation, and so you're already ahead of the game with that. And the other element that I'm getting is that one size does not fit all. And that has been typically the story here in the States, is that one size fits all. So while, you know, I can use the colors to understand red, yellow, green, and in our case, we use white, what I'm learning is that you guys are operating in a higher, a higher frequency and a higher understanding because of the EU regulations. And I'm also learning that one size does not fit all. So
let me add one thing here, Paul, please, because, and please correct me, Julie, I'm wrong, but the CDC guidelines do have a lot of these elements in there already. But it looks like, and this is how we experienced this the last years, that there are not too many people out there who just do it the way the CDC is recommending it since years. I think the last update on the CDC was 2016. I guess we will have quite soon new updates, new regulations coming out. But seeing what's in the CDC guidelines since years and what is actually really taken care of in the dental offices, these are two worlds. And
yeah,
just taking care of the existing guidelines would help a lot to move forward. So I think this is something that is really important to understand, that there are guidelines in the US with the CDC which have been in place a long time, and there will come more, but what is existing? We should really ramp up to do that, because it's important stuff. And a lot of this is quite similar to what is in other countries. For example, Germany. There's a lot in there that this is there as well.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because one thing maybe you guys can help clarify for me is this looks amazing, the Steri Center, but I've seen people doing sterilizations with carpet in their practice. What's the current stance on carpet? I mean, to me, it sounds great.
I think our stand on carpet is definitely that even the CDC guidelines right now say that carpet cannot, and that is scientifically proven, sterilize and clean like a hard surface floor. And that is why carpet does not have to be anywhere in your office ever.
And the thing is, and I think what I hope really what is coming down the road is that as of now, there is nobody out there who is really checking if offices really follow these guidelines. In other countries, really, they have inspectors coming into your office and they look specific into these guidelines. And it's not it's more than it's just a guideline, but on the other side, it's more than a guideline, because if they don't follow the guidelines, then the inspector can close the office. And this happens frequently in Europe, that inspectors really close offices because they do not meet the recommendations. And I really hope that this is coming down the road to really help to get fast better.
Yeah, well, I think it's definitely coming down the road. I think we all know that. And even before the inspectors, it's coming down the road from a patient perspective. Mm-hmm. Patients want to know, patients are going to want to know that you're clean and that you're protected. And while the lights are important, they're only showing the patient that you're both clean and protected. You actually have to be clean and protected. And I think the ultimate decision maker will not just be the inspectors, but the patients. And I know that people are going to come out of this and they're going to be looking to be clean and protected. So,
yeah.
I'm glad I reached
think-
out to you guys. I think you provided a tremendous amount of value in explaining this. Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure. So let me, okay,
Oh.
we're done. That's fine. Time is over.
Well, I got a lot of knowledge here. I gotta process it, but I got a lot of knowledge.
Okay, okay. It
Go
was
ahead,
all
you got-
information I can see.
Yeah,
no.
that's why we said that in the beginning. Honestly, Holger and me can talk about this topic an entire day.
Fine, that's fine. We can use
So-
that.
No. So Holger, please finish this off here.
Okay, Paul. There's one last thing I just want to say. There's so many regulations out there, more will come, but what we really feel optimistic for offices that we have built the last 2 years and that we designed as Kappler Design, they're really, really far ahead of most of the offices with no carpet and having closed operatories, having doors, having the sterilization set up in a way it will be or should be. So that's really interesting to hear this together with you and Julia. And I think people will more and more realize that how important the heart of the office, the sterilization, will become in the future.
Well, it's super interesting you say that. So all the offices that you guys have already built and designed are already at this level. And it's interesting you say that because I wasn't thinking that, but subconsciously, I wanted to talk to the experts on dental practice design and sterilization, and something told me to call you guys. So it makes sense because when I go in your offices, I don't see carpets. I see clean, sterile. I see clean and protect. That's kind of what I see. So, well, thank you. And
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Ciao, ciao.
Stay safe. Talk to you soon. Bye.